The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2, in conjunction with Colfax High School, presents Viking Pregame. A look at today's Colfax Vikings boys game. And now, Viking Pregame.
Good evening and welcome to the NLWN2 studios. Rick Olson here, and tonight the 9-6 Colfax Vikings, who are 4-4 in the Dun St. Croix Conference, will try to knock off the top team in the conference as they take on the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers, who have a 7-0 conference record. The Vikings are coming off a hard-fought 53-48 loss to the number 5 team in Division III, the Osceola Chieftains, last Friday night, while the Panthers are coming off a 64-59 win over the Whitehall Norse last night. Now, coming up in this edition of Viking Pregame, we'll take a look at tonight's matchup between the Panthers and the Colfax Vikings. Then we'll get Coach Noel's perspective on tonight's game in Coach's Corner. Following that, Jay Fall and Dan Petchow will bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's game. So it's time to get ready for some high school boys basketball. All that coming up right after this brief timeout. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame, where we're getting ready to bring you all the action of tonight's game between the undefeated in the conference at 12-4 overall Durand-Arkansaw Panthers and the 9-6 Colfax Vikings, who are currently sitting at 4-4 in the Dun St. Croix Conference. The Vikings are looking to build on a strong performance, albeit in a losing effort, against the number 5 team in the state in Division III, the Osceola Chieftains. Now, in that game, the Vikings gave the Chieftains all they could handle, climbing to a halftime lead of 23-21. The Chieftains battled back, finally securing the lead late in the game from the free throw line. Now, in that game, the Vikings were able to have 3 players score in double figures. They were led in scoring by 5'9" junior Elijah Ensminger, who hit on 7 field goals, including a 3-pointer, and went 1 for 1 from the free throw line for 16 points. He was followed by 5'11" sophomore Aiden Fisher, who hit 4 field goals, 3 of which were 3-pointers for 11 points, while 6'4" senior Jack Charlo hit 4 from the floor, including 1 from outside the 3-point line, and went 1 for 2 from the charity stripe for 10 points. Now, so far on the season, leading the way for the Vikings is Charlo, who's averaging over 17 points per game. He's followed by Ensminger, who's putting up almost 16, and Nick Jensen, who's chipping in 8. Leading rebounders for the Vikings are Charlo, who's averaging about 10 per game, and Jensen, who's pulling down around 6 per game. Now, the Panthers come into tonight's game unbeaten in the Dun St. Croix Conference play with a record of 7-0 and 12-4 overall, following their 64-59 win over the Whitehall Norse last night. The Panthers are fielding an experienced team with 6 seniors and 4 juniors. Look for Durand-Arkansaw to be led in scoring by 6'6" junior Ethan Hurlbert, who's shooting nearly 46% from the floor and 34% from three-point land, while averaging 17 points per game. He's followed by 6' senior Zach Nelson, who adds nearly 16 points per game, and 6' senior Dre Bauer, who's chipping in another 8 points per game. On the board, the Panthers are led by 6'3" junior Grady Hayden, who's pulling down just over 5 boards per game, while Hurlbert and Parker Almstead managed to grab just under 5 per game each. Now, so far on the season, Durand-Arkansaw is scoring at a 59-point average while giving up 54 points per game. The Vikings are averaging 55 points per game while allowing an average of 42. Now, coming up next, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective as we chat with Viking head coach Mark Knoll on Coach's Corner. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 are proud to announce that this spring they will be your viewing home for Eau Claire Cowboys football. Check out www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for times and dates. That's Eau Claire Cowboy football on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, what they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
Once again on Coach's Corner, we're talking with Viking boys head coach Mark Knoll. And Coach, last Friday night, the Vikings surprised a number of people by almost pulling off a major upset against the number 5 ranked Division III team in the state before losing to the Osceola Chieftains 53-48. Your comments about that game?
Number one, obviously it was a good game. Our boys did a great job of executing what we wanted to do on the court. I thought defensively they did a great job. Offensively, we shot 47% for the game. We held their leading scorer, who averages 23.5 points a game, to 10 points. And then they had a 6'10" kid. Yeah, he had 10, and then they had a 6'10" kid. He had 13, but I thought we did an excellent job on him as well, just keeping him off the glass. And overall, we just kept their offensive rebounding to a real low. We out-rebounded Osceola by 8. And so whenever you out-rebound somebody, you're going to give yourself a chance.
Well, it appears as though the Vikings have figured out how to play with some really strong teams. What's it going to take to turn those close games into victories?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's what we're trying to do, and we've won some close games, we've lost some close games, and I mean, and that's just part of the whole process that we're going through with our team, is learning how to finish. With that Osceola game, we had it at a 1-point game with like 40 seconds left, and they got an offensive rebound put back by the 6'10" kid that made it a 3-point game. And then we had a turnover late with like 22 seconds left, where we had the ball down 3 and then we turned it over. So it's just about executing and just staying positive. And that's why we were in the game, because we had that tough loss just the night before to Mondovi, and we went. Our backs were against the wall at Osceola on the road in a tough environment. They had a really good crowd there at their gym, and I was proud of the boys and how we played.
Well, tonight, the Vikings are going to take on the Dunn St. Croix Conference leading Durand-Arkansaw Panthers. They are currently 7-0 in conference play. What can you tell us about the Panthers?
The Panthers are a very long team. They've got 2 6'6" players. One that starts, one that comes off the bench. Then they've got a 6'3", then 6'2", a couple 6-footers. They only start one kid that's like 5'11", and they're starting 5. So they've got a long team. They can shoot it, when they get hot, like anybody, I guess. And then they're just a well-rounded team. They've got inside and outside play, and they're a tough team to play.
Well, if anybody ever wondered about how well you match up against Durand, the last time these two teams met was back on December 8th, where it took overtime for the Panthers to defeat the Vikings 44-40. What can the Vikings offer that's different this time around?
Well, I'm hoping that we'll have some other kids step up as well, and that's one thing I kind of challenged our kids with yesterday after practice was, we'd like to see pretty much everyone that plays get 3 to 5 points a game. I can't have 3-4 kids getting 0 points. I need to have everybody getting 3, 4, 5, 6 points. And if we do that, then we're a tough team to beat.
Well, Coach Knoll,
1, 2,
It's going to be
1,
an
2,
exciting
3.
night. Good
1,
luck
2,
on
3,
tonight's
4.
game. Hopefully the
1, 2, 3,
Vikings
4,
can
5.
get a little revenge from that overtime loss and show that they can stand up to those good teams.
1, 2.
Thank you very much. Go Vikings.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, with a look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
1, 2. 1, 2.
Testing 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame. The Vikings are looking to prove that with the recent run of edge-of-your-seat nail-biters that they've been involved in, they've gained valuable experience and can use that to their advantage. Now, on the other hand, the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers would like to keep their undefeated conference record unblemished. Now, the last time the Panthers and the Vikings faced each other was back on December 8th, where it took overtime for the Panthers to come out on top 44-40, and the Vikings would very much like to get some payback tonight. So the stage is set for some exciting boys high school basketball, and we'll have all the action for you right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Now, in just a moment, we'll send it out to Colfax High School, where our broadcast crew is ready to bring you all the action of tonight's boys game between the Colfax Vikings and the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers. That's all coming up next. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
Soon the weather will change and you'll be able to breathe in the clean fresh air of spring. And you know what comes right along with that. That's right, it will be time for Eau Claire Cavalier Baseball. Follow the Cavaliers all season long right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and NLWN TV. Be sure to check out our website at www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for our current broadcast schedule. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame with a look at today's Colfax Viking Boys game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Stay tuned, coming up next is live Colfax Viking basketball. It happens to everyone eventually. Your computer goes on the fritz. Fear not, Sladen's Technology Services can help. When your computer decides to not cooperate, it can be very frustrating. Let Sladen's Technology Services keep you from wanting to drive your computer right off a cliff. Sladen's Technology Services supports business of all sizes. They offer assistance with managed anti-malware, encrypted email, fast tech support, data backup, and recovery, and more. Call Sladen's Technology Services at 715-864-2833 and get the IT help you desire. Sladen's Technology Services is the official IT service for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Colfax Viking basketball is on the air.
Vikings steal the pass. This is Charlo driving down the left side of the lane, puts it up. It goes in and he draws the harm.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 proudly present today's Colfax Viking Boys varsity basketball game.
Down to Jensen and on the right baseline, puts it up and in. This is what you were talking about a couple days ago, Dan. Jensen's got to put those shots up, and he's doing it.
Join us as we head out to the gym for today's Viking basketball.
Good evening. Welcome to Colfax as the Viking boys continue their trek in the Dun St. Croix Conference. Back-to-back games against conference leaders. They dropped a game to Osceola on Friday night. And now tonight they're playing the conference leader in their own conference, the Dun St. Croix Conference, Durand-Arkansaw. In the first meeting of these two teams, Durand won that one down in Durand, and the score was 44-40. So it was a pretty close one on the road. But the rematch tonight, and
the Northern Light Webcasting.
This is Jay Fall along with Dan Petchow and Chris Olson on the camera. We're glad that you are tuning in tonight. whether you can't or decided not to, venture out in the cold and stay warm and watch the action right here. We will send it down to courtside shortly here as both teams ready to go, lined up along the sidelines, and we'll go to the public address announcer here at Colfax.
Durand-Arkansaw Panthers. And your Colfax Viking. Introducing the starters for the Panthers. The 6-foot senior number 11, Zach Nelson. 6'2" senior number 12, Dre Bauer. 6'2" And now, the starting line for your Colfax Vikings.
So the tip goes up, and it's controlled by the Vikings. Ensminger comes up with it. One-handed pass to Irwin, and we are underway. Irwin back and forth up on top to Blake Johnson. Now Jack Charlo comes out, drives toward the hoop, over the top, no good. Rebounded by Dane Bates of Durand-Arkansaw. Panthers up the floor. It's Dre Bauer with the ball. Fires it off free throw line left to Zach Nelson. Back around to Bates. Opposite corner up for Bauer. And he puts in the basket for the first score of the night. And that is Durand 2. Colfax 0. 17-18 to go in the first half. Vikings with the ball. Passing around at free throw line extended right. Irwin bounces it back to Ensminger. Ensminger will drive. Go up. Shot missed, rebounded by Dre Bauer, and he'll bounce pass it on the left side to Dane Bates. And it's 4-0 Durand. Across the timeline with it for the Vikings, it's Irwin. Irwin out to Charlo. He'll hand it off to Blake Johnson over on the far side. Drives toward the free throw line, into the corner, back out on the wing to Irwin. Irwin fires over to Johnson. He'll look at one quick. Stop at the free throw line, gets it in the corner to Charlo. Johnson gets it back, takes the three-pointer, rolls off the rim. Zach Nelson of Durand-Arkansaw will rebound it. Setting it up, Dre Bauer for the Panthers. Out to Hurlburt. Now they'll fire it onto the middle to Hayden. Too hot for him to handle, but Bauer's there to back him up. And the pass goes in. They're trying to get into the big man. Now it bounces off to Hurlburt. And Durand gets it back out on top. And now they'll try to set it up again. Zach Nelson, Dre Bauer. Out to Ethan Hurlburt. Free throw line left. He'll bounce it in to Grady Hayden, and the first foul of the game tonight is called on Colfax. That's going to be charged to Blake Johnson. Durand underneath their own basket will throw it in. Bauer alley-oops it out on top to Hurlburt, or Bates, then to Hurlburt. Hurlburt gets it back top of the key. He'll look at one. Decide not to take it. He'll fire it over to Nelson on his left. Nelson doubled up on by the Vikings. Back out to Bates. Durand around the horn going in on the left side. That's Nelson. Shot bounces off. Trying to get the rebound is Irwin, and he's on the floor with it. Manages to bounce it to Charlo, to Jensen. Around the arch to Ensminger. He'll pull up from 12. That one bounces off the back rim. Johnson pulls off the rebound for Colfax, and the Vikings will set it up. Coming up on 15 minutes remaining in the first half. Ensminger to Johnson. Johnson driving up, pops it up and in. First points of the night for the Vikings. It's 4-2 Durand. Quickly up the floor it goes to Hurlburt, and he'll put a layup in on the right side. It is 6-2 Durand. Driving in for the Vikings. Nice layup by Kyle Irwin. Took it right in. 6-4. Panthers up the floor with it. It's Dre Bauer. Bauer to Hayden. Hayden needs an outlet pass, trying to get it into Bates, and Jensen knocks it away and gets it out to a teammate. That's Ensminger coming up the floor with it for Colfax. He'll stop at the top of the wheel. Out to Johnson. Johnson give and go to Irwin out there on the far side. He'll bring it out. Back to Ensminger in the center. Into Jensen. Jensen's going to wait. Fire it off to Ensminger. Ensminger coming right to left. His shot blocked by Hurlburt. And Durand gets the ball back. Bauer back to Hurlburt. He'll look at one from the corner and toss it back up to Hayden. Down free throw line left to Bauer, to Nelson, and left wide open inside was 6'6" junior Ethan Hurlburt, and it is 8-4 Panthers. Jensen takes a shot and puts it right in from the free throw line. Colfax hanging in there. It's 8-6 Durand. 13.5 minutes to go in the first half. Driving in, Zach Nelson. Nelson on the baseline tosses it back out to Hayden. Out to Bauer. Bauer, corner of the lane, zings it back to Bates. Bates will go to Zach Nelson moving in, and he shot it too hard, bounced out of there into the hands of Elijah Ensminger for the Vikings. Ensminger going up in the land of the Giants there, and he draws a foul. 13 minutes left in the first half, and Colfax trails by 2. It's 8-6 Durand. Jay Fall, Dan Petshaw with you, along with Chris Olson on the camera from Colfax. First free throw is good. The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV are excited to once again be your home for Eau Claire Cavaliers baseball. Follow the Cavs throughout the 2023 season on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. So Elijah Ensminger, the 5'9" junior guard, puts in the second free throw, and we are knotted at 8. Bauer in the backcourt will pass it to Grady Hayden. Back to Bauer. Bringing up the floor. Colfax in a man-to-man. Out to Shane Preisel now in the ball game for the Panthers. Out to Grady Hayden, puts in a shot, bounces around, and Irwin's going to come up with a loose ball, or Medine, sorry, for the Vikings. Ensminger, top of the key. We're going to have a blocking foul. Charge to Durand, Shane Preisel. Preisel's a 5'9" senior guard into the ball game. Medine will toss it inbounds to Ensminger. He'll get it back. Give and go. Top of the key. Medine for three. Bounces around and down. Colfax takes their first lead of the game. It's 11-8. At half court, it's Dre Bauer. Bauer give and go out to Hurlburt. To Hayden. And to Preisel. Preisel back out to Hurlburt. He'll look at one from way outside. Preisel, or that's Bauer, has to stretch for it. He'll drive the lane now. Pops it out in the far corner to Preisel. He'll go in back to Bauer, and we had a whistle. Something went on underneath there. That is going to be a foul charge to Eli Ralph. And Ralph scrapping in there on defense. Couldn't get it, though. Preisel out to Pelkey. It's Tyler Pelkey now in. Preisel, free throw line extended right. Other side to Hurlburt, and he'll drop it in for 3 points. We're tied at 11. 11 and a half minutes to go first half. Elijah Ensminger coming out of the backcourt. Gets some communication from Mark Knoll as he goes by. Moves it to the center. Out to Charlo, three-pointer off the rim, no good. Trying to get it is Medine, and Jensen saves it out to Ensminger. Ensminger back and forth with Medine. Ensminger give and go. Medine right wing, moves it into the center. Medine pops it up from 10 and rolls it off the top of the backboard. 10:48 remaining first half. We're tied at 11. And we have several substitutions. Officials waiting for those, and then we'll resume. Inbounds throw goes to Dre Bauer. Back over to Ethan Hurlburt. Hurlburt passes to Preisel, back out to Bauer. In between the jump circle and the top of the key, back out to Bates. Down on the left side, Hurlburt driving in. Misses the baseline layup. Medine trying to save the ball from going out, and it goes off of him, so Durand's going to get it back. Bounce pass in to a wide open Ethan Hurlburt, who takes the layup in on the right side for two. 10:18 left to go first half, and it is 13-11 Durand. Pass goes out to Fisher. Fisher, free throw line left, bounces it back to Medine. And from the corner, it is Aiden Fisher, rolls off, no good. We're going to have a foul charged to Colton Hoffman. That is his first, that's Colfax's third foul of the first half. Durand up by 2 and with the ball. Hurlburt gets it inside, then out to Tyler Pelkey. One-handed bounce pass to an open Dane Bates, and the fast break doesn't work. Pelkey will try to go up, and we're going to have a foul underneath. And that appears to be charged to a very surprised Mitch Medine. So the first free throw up and in for Tyler Pelkey. Pelkey's a 6-foot senior for the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers. Second one goes up and in as well, and now Durand leads by 4. It's 15-11. 9:48 left first half. Inbounds toss goes to Ensminger. Out of the backcourt with it on the right side. Driving toward the baseline, pops it up from 12, bounces out, rebounded by Durand's Grady Hayden. Bauer, free throw line right, tosses it to Nelson near the sidelines. And we are going to have a, well, let's see. Is it a violation? It must be just a violation. Nope. Durand's going to get it back. Or Colfax gets it.
Yeah, they said that Durand stepped on the out-of-bounds line.
Ah. Ensminger up the floor with it. Colfax dressed in home white. They're moving left to right on your screen. Fisher, top of the key. Shot rolls out, no good. Fisher goes in to gets the rebound. Tries to get it out in the corner to Ensminger and hits the foot of Ryan Mason. So Colfax will have it underneath their own basket. Coming up on 9 minutes left first half. Durand-Arkansaw 15, Colfax 11. Dunn St. Croix Conference boys action. Inbounds, it goes to Jensen. Jensen puts it up, draws a foul. That's going to be charged to Dane Bates, the 6'6" sophomore big man for Colfax. Well, I shouldn't say the big man. There's two of them. Ethan Hurlbert's also 6'6", so the Panthers with some height. And Jensen's first free throw, good. 4-3 as far as team fouls. Colfax leads with that as Jensen puts in his second free throw and cuts the gap to 2. It's 15-13 Durand at 9 minutes left in the first half. Ethan Hurlbert around the line. A lot of legs getting tangled up here early in the first half. Hurlbert trying to go in, gets a pass off on the left side to Ryan Mason. Mason slips and goes out of bounds. Fell the opposite direction of when I had equipment Friday night there in the parking lot at Osceola. He fell on his back, I fell on my face.
Yeah, I couldn't find the replay for that one.
Blake Johnson on the give and go out to Charlo. Out in the corner to Johnson. Johnson give and go, back to Charlo. Charlo drives in hard, and the ball is tapped down by Durand. Out of bounds, Colfax keeps it. And a timeout called on the floor. Mark Knoll would like this one. 8:21 remains in the first half. It's Durand-Arkansaw 15, Colfax 13. You're watching Colfax Vikings Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
January is Financial Wellness Month. Weight loss and physical fitness are common New Year's resolutions, but your finances could probably stand to be leaner as well. Dairy State Bank will post tips all month on Facebook and Twitter to help you get your finances in shape. You can also access a library of information anytime in our online education center. Visit dairystatebank.com and click on the Education Center under the Resources tab. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Welcome back. Vikings with the ball underneath their own basket. On the left side, as you can see there, Blake Johnson looking for somewhere to go with it. He'll bounce it right inside to Nick Jensen. Back out to Hoffman and then to Fisher. Johnson comes out to help. He'll move to the left side and give it back to Fisher. Fisher to Johnson, inside to Jensen, top of the key, driving in. It's Hoffman. Hoffman off the glass for a nice short jumper. And we're tied at 15. Hurlbert driving in for Durand. Pops it up and in. Durand back in the lead. Johnson drives the right side of the lane, flips it back to Hoffman. Hoffman left side, sees Charlo in the corner and he tosses it back out to Fisher. Fisher thought he'd go up, but he'd pass it to Colton Hoffman instead. Fisher gets it back out to Johnson. Johnson driving. Comes back out around to Fisher. Out on top to Charlo from the free throw line. Bingo, nails it. 17 all, 7 minutes left, first half. Hurlburt across the timeline for the Panthers. Hesitates a bit. One-handed pass out to Zach Nelson. Nelson goes up underneath and is fouled. That's going to be charged to Colton Hoffman, and he's picked up his second foul already. So 2 free throws for this one. First one made by Zach Nelson. One left. And makes that one as well. Durand up by 2. It's 19-17, leading the Colfax Vikings. Stay tuned at halftime. Elijah Ensminger is on the Viking profile at halftime. He has the ball right now, drives in, pops it up from 10, and swishes it in. We're back tied at 19. 6.5 minutes to go in the first half. Bauer up high on the left side. Drives right or left to right, fires cross court to Zach Nelson. He'll put it up from 3, nothing but net. 22-19 Durand, 6:10 to go, first half. Pass goes out to Ensminger. Ensminger up from 8. Catches the iron and rolls off into the hands of Ethan Hurlburt. He'll give it to Dre Bauer. Bauer between the jump circle and the key. Back out to Hayden. And coming to help him out, Ethan Hurlburt. Hurlburt, free throw line left. Back to Bauer. And Durand being patient. Waiting for something to open up, going into Hayden. Hayden drives up on Hoffman, puts it in. Or Johnson, sorry. 5:20 left, first half. It's 24-19 Durand. Irwin to Jensen. Ensminger, free throw line left. Drives it into the lane, left open. Jack Charlo tried to do a reverse layup right to left, and that didn't go in. And we'll have a player control foul. That is going to be charged to Durand, Zach Nelson. That's his first. Durand has 4 fouls in the first half, and Colfax has 5. Irwin outside the arch, drives the left side of the lane, puts it up and in.
Kyle Irwin with 4 points.
Vikings pulled to within 3, 24-21. Durand-Arkansaw with the lead. From the sidelines, Ethan Hurlburt drains a three-pointer. And now Durand goes up by 6. It's 27-21, 14 points for him tonight. Ensminger into Jensen. Jensen goes up. And he drew a foul from Dane Bates, who was puzzled about that one. Bates just reached his arms over, as you saw there, to stop the ball, and the official said, well, you can't do that. First free throw for Nick Jensen, good. 27-22, Colfax. Now it's 27-23. Thanks to 2 free throws by Nick Jensen. Durand's going to bring it up. It's Dre Bauer dribbling to the left. Being watched closely by Kyle Irwin. And a pass goes into the corner where there is not a Panther. Out of bounds. Colfax gets it back. And Durand would like a substitution. Throw in goes to Irwin from Johnson. Irwin stops at the free throw line, out to Johnson in the near corner. And pass is stolen away by Dre Bauer of Durand, and going up for the layup is Zach Nelson. He's going to get a basket, and Kyle Irwin's going to pick up a foul. Nelson's also going to get a free throw. 6-5 as far as fouls, so the next Colfax foul puts Durand-Arkansaw in the bonus here in the half. 3:45 remaining. Durand-Arkansaw 29, Colfax 23. And finishes off the three-point play and gets the Panthers to 30. Medine, give and go to Ensminger, looks over to the side for instructions. Drives to the right side, gonna go up from 8 and puts it in. Durand brings it back up, leading by 5. Bauer out to Zach Nelson. Bounce it over to Pelkey. Pelkey into Hurlbert, and a fall-away jumper by Nelson bounces out into the hands of Elijah Ensminger, who's the Viking profile featured player at halftime, so stay tuned for that. Ensminger trying to get a pass, and a big Panther paw knocked it down. Over on the left side, Pelkey. Pelkey gets a pass to Hayden. And Durand with some ball handling trouble there, and Colfax there to scoop it up. Ensminger up the floor, off the glass, bounces up, no good, rebounded by Durand's Ethan Hurlbert. To Dre Bauer, 2:25 left first half. Out on the left side, it goes to Tyler Pelkey. Pelkey gets it back. He'll dish it off into the far corner. Bauer for 3. From the sideline, 33-25. And a timeout on the floor. And we will take a break. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
Are your animals feeling a little under the weather? Give the nice folks at Colfax Animal Hospital a call. Bruce Buckley is just what the doctor ordered. In fact, he is the doctor, and he's ready to help. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Give them a call at 715-962-3380.
Welcome back to Colfax. 2:06 remaining first half. It's Durand-Arkansaw 33, Colfax 25. Ensminger to Fisher. Ensminger gets it back from Charlo. Ensminger up from 10. Shot falls a little bit short, goes right into the hands of Ethan Hurlbert. Bauer, free throw line left. One-handed pass out to Hurlbert. Hurlbert will drive in, stops in the corner of the lane, flips it back to Pelkey. Pelkey goes for a layup, goes around the top. Durand fighting for it. Ball tipped to Ensminger for Colfax. Ensminger going to just drive it up the floor. Passes in the corner to Fisher. Fisher for 3, no good. Rebounded by Hurlbert. Hurlburt out to Bauer. Bauer on the left side, out to Pelkey. Around to Nelson, back out end top to Hurlburt. Inside, it goes to Bauer. Bauer puts it up on the left side. And we have a minute left in the first half, and the Panthers have a 10-point lead, 35-25 over Colfax. Out to Johnson. Johnson driving up top of the key. Out to Ensminger. Ensminger goes up off the glass, bounces out, no good. Rebounded by Pelkey. Pelkey to Bauer. Hayden's got a stretch for a pass, goes up against Jensen, bounces out. Jensen trying to get the rebound. Pelkey in there to steal it back. Now on the sideline to Hurlburt. That one doesn't go. Ball tipped out, and Blake Johnson of Colfax will control it. Passes it to Fisher, hands it off to Fisher, and a foul is going to be called on Tyler Pelkey of Durand-Arkansaw. That's his first. That is Durand's 6th foul. Less than 21 seconds to go in the first half. Johnson to Ensminger. Ensminger. Driving along the left side, dishes it underneath to Charlo. Charlo too far under the basketball, goes to the other end of the floor, left wide open for a layup is Zach Nelson. And Nick Jensen will fire and hit the net from 3/4 court. But at halftime in Colfax, it's the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers leading the Colfax Vikings 37-25. We invite you now to stay tuned for halftime programming. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
When you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it, rest assured, you can still get that meal by going to Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Mom's is open daily, serving breakfast and lunch, and don't forget dinner on Friday nights with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee is always hot, the breakfast is always delicious, and lunch will put a smile on your face and in your stomach. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub.
To get your lawn or garden to perform like you want, you first need to know about your soil. That's where Midwest Environmental Consultants can help. Their soil testing service can give you a complete rundown on your soil's nutrition and health. They test for nitrogen levels, phosphorus, potash, micronutrients, minerals, pH, and organic matter. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants put you in control of your soil's health. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. That's Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for the Chippewa Valley.
Anderson Bridges, located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Vikings.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Time now for Viking Halftime, with today's Viking profile and other halftime entertainment. That's coming up right after this.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're going to get to know Elijah Ensminger, and Elijah's a junior here at Colfax High School. Elijah, we know that you play basketball, but are there any other things here at school that keep you busy?
I play baseball too.
Okay. Now, when did you start playing basketball, and what kind of an experience has it been for you?
Started in like 4th grade, and it's been fun. It's been something to do, and it's always just been one of my things that I've been pretty passionate about. So,
what's the most important thing you've learned playing basketball then?
Teamwork and probably your work ethic.
Okay, you got to get it done, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're not playing basketball or you're not here at school, what are some other things that keep you interested or occupied?
I like hunting and, I don't know, spending time with my friends. That's about it.
All right, a few rapid fire questions for you. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Ice cream.
Your flavor?
Probably vanilla.
Yeah, because you can do anything with that, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. And besides that, it'll go on top of that that pumpkin pie or whatever you're going to have. So, yeah. Okay. Your favorite color and why?
Blue. I don't know. It's just been my favorite color, I guess.
Now, Elijah, if you could have a superpower, what do you think that might be?
Probably a teleport, to be honest.
To be able to teleport. That sounds interesting. But now, if you had that ability to teleport, you'd have to have a superhero name to go with that. So what's Elijah Ensminger's superhero name?
Teleporting E.
Teleporting E. Okay. All right. Do you have a favorite NBA team?
The Bucks.
How about a collegiate team?
Wisconsin.
Is there any basketball player at any level of the sport in your past that has inspired the way you play your game?
I want to say, I don't know. I always liked watching Curry. I mean, he's undersized and so am I, so I guess kind of related to him a little bit, but that's about it.
It's not the size and height, it's the size and the heart, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're talking with Elijah Ensminger today on Viking Profile. And Elijah, what are your plans for after high school?
I don't know. I don't know if I really want to attend a 4-year, but I've been thinking about probably attending a 2-year, like CVTC, and then see what happens from there, I guess.
Okay. How about a shout out to the family?
Thanks, Mom and Dad, and Grandma and Grandpa.
So when people come to Viking games to look for Elijah Ensminger on the floor, what number are they looking for and where are they going to find you?
Number 10, and hopefully right out on the floor working hard. So.
Okay, just be looking for that 10 all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to thank Elijah Ensminger for joining us today on Viking Profile. Coming up, more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
You're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular.
Jason, let's go see your room.
You've been tuned to Viking Halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Couple of minutes left before we start the second half of tonight's game. Dunn-St. Croix Conference boys basketball action. The Durand-Arkansaw Panthers lead the Colfax Vikings by a score of 37-25. How'd we get there?
Yeah, here's the scores for Durand right now. Durand-Arkansaw. Their leader is number 24, Ethan Herbert with 14. We have Zach Nelson with 10. We have Dre Bauer with 7. We have Tyler Pelkey with 2. Graydon Hayden with 2. And Dane Bates with 2. For the Colfax Vikings, they're led by 2 right now. Number 10, Elijah Ensminger and Nick Jensen both have 6 points, followed by Mitch Medina with 3. We have Jack Charlotte with 2. We have Blake Johnson with 2. And Colt Hoffman with 2. 37-25.
Well, join us for upcoming Colfax Vikings basketball action on NLWN TV on Thursday night. We'll have the Viking girls hosting the Spring Valley Cardinals in a Dunn-St. Croix matchup. That one on Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Boys will be in action again this coming Monday night on NLWN2 in the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Vikings will travel to Somerset to take on the Spartans in a non-conference game. On Thursday night, Viking pregame begins at 6:50, followed by live play-by-play coverage. On Monday night with the boys at Somerset, the Viking pregame will actually start at 6:35 for a 7 o'clock tip-off on that one. And again, the boys on NLWN2, the girls on NLWN TV. Back for the second half. Durand's going to start out with it as Hurlbert throws it in to Bauer. Alley-oop pass inside. Vikings get right down there, but Zach Nelson takes a jump shot over the top and makes it. Irwin back to Charlo for the Vikings. To Ensminger, Jensen back over to Charlo, down underneath, turning around jumper, Ensminger. That one bangs around and out. Panthers bring it up the floor. It's Bauer. Bauer down to Hayden. And then to Zach Nelson. Over to Hurlbert. Back out free throw line left to Nelson. Bauer back into Hurlbert. Off the glass way too hard. And that one's going to go to Jack Charlo for Colfax. Up the floor to Irwin. Irwin down in the far corner. Irwin on the right side or into Charlo. Back out to Irwin outside the arch. That one rolls off, rebounded by Hayden. Hayden to Bauer for Durand-Arkansaw. Back halfway down. Back to Hayden. Hayden to Hurlbert. Down to Bauer in the middle to Bates. Bates looking around underneath. Bauer drives in, alley-oops it to Bates. Bates off the glass, puts it in on the left side. Durand leads 41-25, coming up on 16 minutes remaining in the second half as Ensminger drives around, then dishes a pass off to Blake Johnson. Johnson back to Irwin. Irwin will drive in into Jensen. Jensen with a little hook shot. That doesn't go, and it's rebounded by the Panthers. Bauer brings it up the floor. Bauer. Far corner to Hayden. Hayden will drive it back out. He'll look underneath, then go out on back out on top to Hurlbert. Hurlbert will drive in, scoop pass it back to Bauer. Bauer being guarded by Irwin. Ball down to Hurlbert. Hurlbert from Hayden. Bauer takes a shot and misses, or Zach Nelson does. And we'll have our first foul of the second half. So the foul is going to be charged to Grady Hayden of the Panthers. Irwin drives around off to Blake Johnson. Johnson for three. Catches a front iron and rolls out, no good. Back down in the corner goes to Hurlburt. Hurlburt for three, misses. Jensen trying to get the rebound. Pass goes back out to Nelson. It rolls off his front side, and Jensen right there to pick it up. To Charlo. Charlo doubled up on, goes up with a shot, falls short. Durand gets it back. Driving in, Hurlburt. The good, tough drive results in 2 more points for the Panthers. 43 for Durand-Arkansaw, 25 for Colfax. Ensminger back out to Irwin. Irwin caught in the lane, out to Jensen. Jensen up from 10, bangs around, out, no good, rebounded by Bauer. Bauer up the floor to Hurlburt, who was trying to go up with it and had kind of a quick, where'd the ball go look. Sailed out of bounds, and Colfax is going to get it back. 14-14 remaining in the second half, and a timeout on the floor. Durand-Arkansaw 43, Colfax 25. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax has just what you need when you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it. Mom's is open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily and until 9 on Fridays with a complete breakfast menu. Lunch includes sandwiches, salads, wraps, and burgers, along with Mom's comfort food favorites, and don't forget dinner on Fridays with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee always hot, the breakfast always delicious, and lunch puts a smile on your face. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax.
Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining? Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Dr. Bruce Buckley and his staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380.
In the second half, Vikings are now moving right to left as you look on, still wearing the home white, and the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers in black and purple. Vikings will bring it up the floor. It's Ensminger. To the right, dishes a pass off to Fisher. Fisher trying to come out. Jensen trying to help with some screens. It goes back to Ensminger near the mid-stripe. Ensminger drives around from the free throw line, rolls off, tip back in. I think that was well, I'm not sure who's wearing number 20. 12 it was, okay. Charlo. Fisher loses the ball to Shane Preisel. Panthers get it back. Three-point land, draining it. Grady Hayden for Durand-Arkansaw. 46-27, Durand-Arkansaw. Coming up on 13 minutes remaining, second half, sorry. Elijah Ensminger, halfway down, dishes it off to Fisher. Fisher, three-pointer, bangs around and out, no good. Trey Bauer with the ball for the Panthers. Off to Pelkey. Left open, Preisel for three. 49-27 Panthers. Ensminger. Ensminger to Charlo. Charlo from the free throw line puts it in. 49-29. Ah, okay. Looks like a uniform change then. Colton Hoffman normally wears 34. He's got 20 on. Hoffman being driven on by Hurlburt. Then out on the baseline. Pass goes left to right, back outside the arch to Bauer. And 3 seconds violation in the lane for Durand. 12 minutes left in the second half. Durand by 20, 49-29 over Colfax. Ensminger to Charlo. Charlo, one-handed pass into Jensen. Charlo gets it down inside from Ensminger. Back to Ensminger. Pops it up from 13, hits it.
Ensminger has 8.
Durand. Shane Preisel gets the ball, left open. Alex Anderson. Durand now going into their bench aways. It goes to Tyler Pelkey. He misses a layup on the left side, and it'll be tipped back to Colton Hoffman. Hoffman out to Fisher. Fisher loses the ball. Preisel trying to get a hold of it, gets it to Hurlburt. Hurlburt out to Bauer, and it flies off Bauer's fingertips out of bounds. Vikings get it back, coming up on 11 minutes left in the second half. It's Durand-Arkansaw 49, Colfax 31. Out of the backcourt, Ensminger. Up from the free throw line, makes a pass to Medine, and then gets it back from him. Outside the jump circle, drives around a screen by Jensen, and it is tipped and knocked away by Bauer, and Bauer will get it back from Pelkey. Hurlburt with the ball. And we'll have a foul charge to Elijah Ensminger. That's his first of the game, and Durand's first of the second half. Bauer in the backcourt for Durand. Fires it over to Alex Anderson. Anderson to Hurlburt. Back on the right side to Preisel. Preisel out to Hurlburt. Shot missed, rebounded by Charlo. Ensminger driving in, caught on the baseline, looking to go outside. He does to Mitch Medine. Medine tries a three-pointer, missed, but rebounded by Hoffman. Hoffman up and in on the rebound. Durand-Arkansaw 49, Colfax 33. Panthers with the ball. Hurlburt up over to Preisel, and a full timeout called by Durand. 9:49 remaining second half. 49-33 Durand. You're watching Colfax Vikings Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
January is Financial Wellness Month. Weight loss and physical fitness are common New Year's resolutions, but your finances could probably stand to be leaner as well. Dairy State Bank will post tips all month on Facebook and Twitter to help you get your finances in shape. You can also access a library of information anytime in our online education center. Visit DairyStateBank.com and click on the Education Center under the Resources tab. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
If you've been admiring the freshly groomed look of a baseball field, or the stunning appearance of a golf course, remember you too can have a lawn with the same beauty by simply calling Midwest Environmental Consultants. Their professional lawn care experts can bring your lawn to its full beauty and appearance. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants help make your lawn the showplace of the neighborhood.
Durand has the ball coming off the timeout. He bounced into Hurlburt, guarded by Hoffman. Bauer takes it into the backcourt, and he'll fire it down to Zach Nelson. Nelson, one-handed pass up to Preisel. Preisel to Bauer. Ball gets loose, and it's going back to Colfax. Eau Claire has a new semi-pro football team. The Eau Claire Cowboys and NLWN2, along with the Northern Light Webcasting Network, are excited to be your broadcast home. Follow the Eau Claire Cowboys throughout the 2023 season on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Jack Charlo is fouled by Zach Nelson of the Panthers. Since that's a Panthers' second foul of the half, goes out underneath. Mitch Medine's going to try to get it into Charlo. Charlo trying to make a move, gets a pass off, and it goes off the Panthers' Dre Bauer. So the Vikings keep it. In the backcourt to Medine to start things up again for Colfax. Ensminger dribbles it in, goes into Charlo. Charlo driving in on the left side, out to Medine. Medine with a pass to Hoffman. He'll go down the right side, give and go to Charlo. Charlo will go up over the top. Jensen trying to get the rebound, slipped out of his hands and ends up in Hurlbert's. Durand has it back. Inside 9 minutes left, second half. Zach Nelson around the rainbow, hands it off to Bauer. Bauer pulls back toward the jump circle to Preisel. Preisel and a pass, and it gets back in, knocked back in by Durand to Colfax. Driving, Ensminger dishes it off to Hoffman. Ball knocked away. Colfax will keep it underneath their own basket. Medine gets it back after he couldn't get it into Charlo. Medine, Ensminger, he did get it into Charlo, he got it back. Ensminger called for traveling. Approaching 8 minutes remaining. Bauer out to Nelson. Nelson. And it looks like we have a foul. That's called on Zach Nelson. Said he made a push underneath to the dismay of the Durand sideline and fans, but Mitch Medine brings it up for Colfax. Medine to Charlo. Charlo drives in from the free throw line. Shot knocked down. Rebounded by Preisel. Up and into Zach Nelson, and we're going to have a foul. That's going to be charged to Mitch Medine. And as a shooting foul, Zach Nelson's going to get a pair of free throws. 7:48 to go, second half. Free throw number one is good. Durand-Arkansaw 50, Colfax 33. Second one, good. 14 points for him tonight. Blake Johnson now with the ball. Dribbling it up the floor for Colfax. Back to Medine. Medine to Charlo, out on top to Ensminger. Ensminger will drive, pop it up from 10. Catches the front iron, no. Charlo gets the rebound. And a foul's going to be called underneath. I believe on Durand's Dane Bates, but they don't have it on the scoreboard yet. Preisel, okay. And driving in with a layup miss, but reloaded by Charlo, and good. So the last foul on Shane Preisel, his third. Durand gets another shot at offense. Bauer out to Preisel. Back to Bauer. Down in the far corner, Zach Nelson. He'll drive in. One-handed pass to Bauer, Dre Bauer. Shot falls short by Bates. And Colfax quickly brings it up the floor. That's Ensminger at the free throw line to Charlo. Charlo for 3. Catches the back iron, no good. Durand tried to keep that in bounds. And I think the official pointed the wrong way. Yeah, he pointed toward the Durand basket when there were 2 Durand players that touched that ball before it went out of bounds. Nonetheless, timeout on the floor, 6:42 remaining second half. It's 51-35. Durand-Arkansaw. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
Join us at the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV for exciting Colfax High School girls basketball. Our next game will be on Thursday, February 2nd, when the Vikings will host the Spring Valley Cardinals. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN TV begins with Viking pregame at 6:50 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking girls basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV on Thursday, February 2nd.
Welcome back. Join NLWN TV and the Northern Light Webcasting Network on Thursday, February 2nd. This coming Thursday night as the Viking girls will host the Spring Valley Cardinals in the Dunn-St. Croix Conference matchup. Live coverage will begin with Viking pregame beginning at 6:50 p.m. That'll be followed by all the live play-by-play action. That's Colfax girls basketball Thursday night on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Blake Johnson to throw it in for Colfax. Gets it into Nick Jensen. Takes a three-pointer. Catches the side of the backboard, and it's rebounded by Hurlburt. Hurlburt out to Bauer. Bauer to Alex Anderson. Alexson will drive in on Jensen.
We got a foul on number 11 for
Yep.
Durand.
Zach Nelson. That is his third. Ensminger up the floor for Colfax. Drives around to Jensen's screen both ways on that one. Medine out to Jensen. Jensen for 3. Swishes it. Nick Jensen, a nice three-pointer from the top of the key. 9 points for him. Durand with the ball. Bauer. Bauer, free throw line right to Preisel. Preisel dribbles it back into the middle, gets it out to Zach Nelson. And we'll have a foul underneath, away from the ball. That's going to be on Colfax, I believe. Yep, that's the second foul for Blake Johnson. 3 fouls for Colfax, 5 in the second half for Durand. Out on top, it goes to Preisel. Preisel out to Hayden. Hayden between the jump circle and the key, out to Zach Nelson. Charlo trying to take a stab at the ball there, stays clear of everything. Nelson into Charlo, and that ball goes out of bounds off Jack's hand. 5.5 minutes remaining, second half. Durand-Arkansaw 51, Colfax 38. Bounce pass into Ethan Hurlburt, far corner. He'll give it back to Zach Nelson, or check that, that's Dre Bauer. Bauer. Out to Hayden. Hayden trying to get it back to Hurlburt. Hurlburt gets a one-handed pass back to Bauer. Up to Zach Nelson. And Durand just kind of moving it around the horn. Going to wait till they can pull the Vikings out of there to go in for a clear one. Bauer driving, and a timeout called by Durand. 4:57 to go, second half. Durand-Arkansaw 51, Colfax 38. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
Join us on NLWN2 for exciting Colfax High School Boys Basketball.
This is what we came in for!
Our next game will be on Monday, February 6th, when the Vikings travel to Somerset to take on the Somerset Spartans. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN2 begins with Viking pregame at 6:50 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 on Monday, February 6th.
4:57 left. Second half. Vikings have 1 timeout left. Durand has 3 to use. Trey Bauer is going to throw it in underneath the Durand basket on the left side. Into Hayden, and then Bauer will take it back. Up on top it goes to Ethan Hurlburt. And a foul is going to be called on Elijah Ensminger, his second. Ethan Hurlburt's going to throw it in. Dishes it down to Bauer. Bauer out to Zach Nelson. Nelson's shot missed, rebounded by Jensen. Jensen's pass tipped. Durand gets it right back. Hurlburt to Bauer, back to Hurlburt up on top. Hurlburt to Bauer. Back out to Grady Hayden. Hayden out to Hurlburt. And trying to go after the ball, but getting Hurlburt was Elijah Ensminger. That's his 3rd foul. 5 fouls apiece between the 2 teams for each of the 2 teams here in the second half. Bauer gets the inbounds throw, free throw line left. Bauer driving up on Yarrington. Ball gets loose. Colfax gets it back. Nice layup on the fast break by Ensminger. Full court pressure applied by Colfax now. Pass goes to Nelson. Nelson goes up on the right side, puts in the layup over the top of Nick Jensen. Charlo up the floor for Colfax, out to Ensminger. Ensminger driving. Ensminger to Jensen. Jensen, corner of the lane, 2. 53-45, Durand-Arkansaw. Deep on the end line, Preisel. Preisel out to Grady Hayden. Pass goes in to Dre Bauer, and then to an open Zach Nelson, who puts in a layup. 3.5 minutes left to go in the ball game. 55-42, Durand-Arkansaw. Taking the shot from near the sideline over there was Blake Johnson. It didn't go. Preisel. Or check that, that's Bauer. Back to Nelson. Back over to Hurlburt. Hurlburt is fouled on the way in by Blake Johnson, who reached in. 3 fouls for him. He and Elijah Ensminger each have 3 fouls for the Vikings. Shane Preisel and Zach Nelson in the most foul trouble for Durand. They each have 3. Durand to throw it in. It's Dre Bauer. Bauer into Zach Nelson. Nelson up high on the right side. Charlo reached in this time. And that's the 7th foul, so this is going to be a 1-and-1. Shooting is Zach Nelson. First free throw, good. Exactly 3 minutes left, second half. Durand-Arkansaw 56, Colfax 42. And Nelson drains the second one as well.
Durand is 9 for 9. Durand is 9 for 9 from the line tonight.
Wow. And a timeout on the floor. 3 minutes to go, second half, 57-42. Durand-Arkansaw, you're watching Colfax Vikings Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 are proud to announce that this spring they will be your viewing home for Eau Claire Cowboys football. Check out www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for times and dates. That's Eau Claire Cowboy football on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Soon the weather will change and you'll be able to breathe in the clean fresh air of spring. And you know what comes right along with that. That's right, it will be time for Eau Claire Cavalier baseball. Follow the Cavaliers all season long right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and NLWN TV. Be sure to check out our website at www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for our current broadcast schedule.
3 minutes left in the game. Colfax will bring the ball up the floor. 57-42, Durand-Arkansaw with the lead. Jensen comes up, gets a pass from Ensminger. Jensen flips it back to Yarrington. Give and go out to Ensminger. Ensminger pulls up, 13-footer, good. Colfax down by 13, 57-44 to Durand. Panthers bringing it up, Zach Nelson, fouled by Jack Charlo. 8th foul on Colfax as a team in the second half. That's Jack Charlo's second. Zach Nelson on the free throw line for Durand-Arkansaw. Sends the first one up, sails it through. $21 points for Zach Nelson tonight for Durand, and that is second, making it 22.
Yeah, he's 9 for 9 from the free throw line tonight.
Whew. Ensminger out on the free throw line left, throws it to Yarrington. Yarrington to Johnson. Johnson drives in, tries to get a pass to Jensen. And we're going to have a foul. It looks like away from the ball. That's going to be charged to Durand, Zach Nelson, and that is his fourth. 2:18 left in the ball game. Johnson to Charlo to Ensminger. Ensminger in at the free throw line, waits, puts it up and in. Approaching 2 minutes remaining in the ball game. Blake Johnson and Elijah Ensminger trying to apply some pressure as Hayden gets the ball down to a wide open Shane Preisel. That kind of does a reverse layup. And Durand is up 61-46. Ensminger into Charlo. Charlo drives in and makes a bucket. Nelson caught with it in the backcourt. Gets it to Bauer, free throw line right. Bauer's going to drive in over on the far side, Preisel. Preisel back out to Bauer. Bauer, opposite corner, back to Preisel. And we're going to have a 3-second lane violation on Grady Hayden of the Panthers. 1:21 left in the ball game. Durand-Arkansaw 61, Colfax 48. Ensminger to Jensen. Jensen goes up and draws a foul. Fouled on the way in, I believe, by Grady Hayden. It is. That is his third foul. Nick Jensen to the free throw line. Viking girls host Spring Valley Thursday night. You can see it on NLWN TV and the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Viking pregame begins at 6:50. Play-by-play after that. That is this Thursday night. And Jensen makes both of his free throws.
Nick Jensen 6 for 6 from the line tonight.
Down along the far side, we are going to have a tripping foul. As Zach Nelson came up the floor, got tangled up with Elijah Ensminger. That is his fourth foul, Ensminger's. 9 fouls on Durand as a team in the second half. 7 for Durand. First free throw good. Next foul, Durand will be in the double bonus. They lead by 12, 62-50 over the Colfax Vikings. Durand-Arkansaw is leading in this game. Second is good. Colfax brings it up the floor. Elijah Ensminger. Ensminger into Jensen. Out to Blake Johnson for 3. Nails it. Colfax pulls to within 10, 63-53, 47 seconds left. Bauer flips it to a wide open Hurlburt, who puts in a very easy layup down on the right side. Blake Johnson back to Ensminger. He'll look at a 3 ball. Drive around Jensen. Goes up. Hits the side of the backboard. Charlo tries to go up. Ball knocked down. And Trey Bauer has it. He's fouled by Mason Yerington. It's Mason's first foul. That'll send Trey Bauer to the free throw line for Durand. Next time the boys are in action is Monday night, non-conference game at Somerset. Viking pregame begins at 6:35. Play-by-play action after that. Free throw number 1 is good. Colfax Viking Boys Basketball is on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2. Second free throw for Bauer is good. 20 seconds remaining in the ball game as Colfax is going to pick it up late to save some time here. Elijah Ensminger from the free throw line ditches it off to Johnson. Blake Johnson for 3 points. And Colfax, Blake Johnson is going to foul Grady Hayden with 5.5 seconds to go in the ball game. That's Johnson's 4th foul. Hayden just has 4 of the Viking defenders there on the free throw line. First free throw is good. Second free throw, good as well for Grady Hayden.
17 for 17 from the free throw line tonight for
Durand. And Charlo takes it to the other end, puts it up with a layup for 2. As the game comes to an end, Durand-Arkansaw defeats the Colfax Viking boys by a score of 69-58. Durand now goes up to 8-0 in the Dunn St. Croix Conference and 13-4 on the season. Colfax falls to 4-5 in the Dunn St. Croix, and they are 9-7 on the season. We invite you to stay tuned for Viking post game, and we'll hopefully talk with Mark Knoll. Tonight's Colfax High School basketball game is brought to you by the Colfax Animal Hospital. Let Dr. Buckley and his friendly staff take care of your pet. Dairy State Bank, where they're banking on relationships. Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for the Chippewa Valley. Anderson Bridges, who have been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. Slayton's Technology, IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Comfort Food, the way Mom used to make it. And Fit Fam Nutrition of Colfax, with drinks that taste as good as their names sound. Plus, they're healthy. Be sure to thank these fine sponsors for bringing you Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN 2, and Viking TV.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for Colfax Boys Basketball. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Postgame, where we'll take a look back at today's Colfax Viking Boys game.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Time now for Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. And now, Viking Postgame.
Welcome back to Colfax Viking Postgame. Mark Knoll is with us, and Mark, 2 tough games back-to-back against, good basketball teams.
Yeah, I mean, it stinks because we'd like to show you guys how good we are. You know what I mean? I know that's what the boys want to do. They want to show all their family and friends and all their people here in the community that they are a very good team, because they are. They're a very good team. Durand is a very good team. There's a reason why they're 12-4 now, and they've played a really tough schedule. With that said, we missed so many shots in that game. And had breakdowns on some things defensively. And when you miss as many as we did and then have some defensive lapses in there, 11 points is, 5 possessions maybe. You know what I mean? It's not very many. So that game, I love the fact that we won the second half by 1, but the damage was already done. We were down by 12 at halftime. But I like the fact that we continue to keep fighting. We got good kids. I love to see that some other kids did step up. We got 4 points, I think, out of Irwin. We got, how many out of Johnson there?
23-8, yep.
8,
Yep.
You know what I mean? That was good to get some more scoring out of some of those other guys. Colton Hoffman got us, I think, 4 points or something like that. And Mitch did too. So that's good when we get some other guys scoring, because that's kind of what my message has been. We need to get some of those other guys going. And then Big Farmer, right, stepped out and hit a 3 for us. So that's a great thing. And he shows that he can do that. He shows it every day in practice. Mm-hmm. So we've seen it, and we're going to continue to look for that look as well.
Yeah, he's been making some great shots, and your guys didn't give up. They hung right in there, through the whole thing, and had to deal with some height.
Yeah,
from both of these.
Durand is like the land of the giants. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're the land of the Smurfs, and so and seriously now they were like 6'6", 6'6", at times, and then 6'3", 6'3". That's tough.
Yeah,
that's tough. But I love the fight. I love and then if the ball's falling for us a little bit earlier, our confidence would roll a little earlier. And that's what that hurt us a little bit, is our confidence. So we didn't see the ball go through the rim enough. Once it started to go through in the second half, then it also made their defense get a little more aggressive, right?
Yeah.
So you have to see the ball go through the rim. You're going to have days where you don't shoot it. I don't know what we shot well tonight, but I know it was lower than probably 38%, would be my guess. Now, some of that's due to their length. But we also drove in, and, we sometimes got too deep. And that's what you don't want to do against a tall team, is you don't want to get too deep, because then their size will take over.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, coming up now, you've got a week where, you can practice and that sort of thing before your next game, non-conference at Somerset.
Yes. We have some time here, but we have, 2 weeks in a row coming up now with 3 games each.
Mm-hmm.
So those, we just played 3 in 6 days. So we're used to it. We can do it, and we've done it earlier. But yes, it's going to take a special effort to and some of those games are on the roads. Somerset, Amory are on the road. Mm-hmm. Those are going to be tough games on the road. But I love our team. I love the fight, and we're going to continue to keep working hard.
Sounds great. Mark, thanks for stopping up and talking with us, and we look forward to seeing you next week at Somerset.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate your work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Go
you.
Vikings.
Mark Knoll, head coach of the Colfax Vikings. As Colfax fell short tonight, 69-58. Let's take a look at the numbers. Dan.
Yeah, here's the scores for the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers. They're led by number 11, Zach Nelson. He had 24 points, followed by Ethan Herbert with 18. We had Dre Bauer with 9. We had Grady Hayden with 7. Dane Bates with 4. Tyler Pelkey with 2. And Shane Preisel with 2. For the Colfax Vikings, they're led tonight by number 10, Elijah Ensminger. He had 14 points, followed by Nick Jensen with 13. Jack Charlo had 12. Blake Johnson had 8. Kyler Irwin had 4. Colton Hoffman had 4. And Mitch Median had 3.
Yeah, so the Vikings just had trouble with the height and coming back from, as Mark said, a lot of the shots that didn't fall, especially in the first half.
Yeah, there was good chances inside that just, you hit the front of the rim, you hit the back of the rim, and, it was one and done for Colfax tonight. And Durand comes down. We were looking at this, and they went 17 for 17 from the free throw line tonight.
Wow.
And which Colfax was 8 for 8, but that's, take 9 points off the board. And
yeah, and going to the free throw line 17 times, the margin was 11. So, I mean,
yeah,
a little bit less, but, I think fouling's going to happen when you're working against that height discrepancy.
Yeah, and towards the end of the game, you got to foul, to give yourself a chance. So.
Yeah. All right. We will be back with you on Monday night when the Viking boys travel to Somerset. 6:35 for Viking pregame, followed by all the live play-by-play action. That's here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. The girls will be in action Thursday night. They're hosting Spring Valley here at Colfax. 6:50 for Viking pregame. Play-by-play following, and that will be on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Appreciate you joining us tonight. For Chris Olson on the camera and Dan Pecha, I'm Jay Fall. Thanks a lot for joining us. Good night.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games by tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.